Alright guys, so today what I've been basically doing is following up on that painting side of things, getting some of the smaller things. I painted the diff in the same black, and then I started onto the caliper brackets and caliper, because one of the calipers is brand new and it's actually painted in the exact same silver, just happens to be. So that's perfect. So one front caliper, two rear calipers, and the front caliper brackets. But the reason I'm making a video on it's not to kind of waste your time, you know, and everything like that. So I decided I would make a little video just on these back calipers on the w124. Actually quite a nice little design, you know, kind of two pistons, whereas the front one is only a single large piston. So it's a two piston setup on the back, and it obviously has some kind of redundancy in it because the car drove kind of very well. Braking was quite good on it before it came in here, and yet when I took out the I'm going to say it's the driver's side, yeah, the driver's side rear caliper, the boot on it was damaged, right, on the outer side. So that would be, let me see if that's, yeah, it would be this one here was damaged on it. So I took it apart. I was kind of saying to myself, Jesus, I'm going to end up having to buy a new caliper or a rebuild kit for it, or and you know, the kind of way I tend to like to do these things is in pairs, especially on something that's so underused as this, that they do seize up, that they kind of, the rear calipers are most likely and very common even on the w123s to bind on you. I've already done rebuilds on the w123 before, so what I did was I decided to start taking this one apart. I got an airline. So what I did was I got an air gun like that on the airline, and a piece of one of my gloves, the finger of it, put it over like that, and then punctured a little hole in the tip. And what that does is it acts like a gasket, so you can actually just push that now straight into the back of that and blow, and the air will come out either side. Now, the downside of that is, that if you don't brace the calipers in the correct way on a two piston like this, one side will pop out, let all the air out, and the other side, the side that's stiff or seized, won't move on you. It won't move on you, so then what ends up happening is you've got one popped out, which you probably are struggling to get back in, and the other side, it won't move on you, it won't do anything. So the way I did it, I have the vice here, but you could do it on the bench, theoretically. So what I did was I put in the brake pad on either side, or on one side, the side that moved. Basically, I give it a little blast, just a very slight, see which side is moving, with a huge block of wood in there. So I put the block of wood in, see which side is moving. That side I would then reinstall the brake pad, and then place an additional bar in like that, and then I could let the pressure really go on the gun, because this side is braced. The side that was moving to start off with was braced. The side that isn't moving comes out very slowly the first few times. You'd squash it back in, get maybe a grips, put it on it, push it back in, do it again, keep going. About the 6th or 7th time you do that, this will have become quite loose and perfect. And that's how I was breaking. I broke both of them loose like that, because they do tend to seize up like that, and that meant now they're really moving nice and sweet. But I still have the rubber gasket issue. Now you can buy just a gasket, because I actually popped out the cylinders on it. Let me see if I have a little rag here to clean this off. And you'll see, that's not perfectly clean, but you'll see the actual cylinder, if I turn it here, has no rust. That's dirt you're seeing there, and I'm after rubbing more on it. But no rust, no pitting, no nothing. So the rubber, the square block rubber that's inside of these, is a square block rubber just inside here. And essentially what that does is it's slightly flared on one side, and as the piston goes by it, it sort of turns it. So it starts to turn this block of rubber, and that as it travels, and then as the pressure is released, that same block of rubber, because it's square, wants to pull back, so it ends up pulling that cylinder right back into the caliper, relative to being overpowered. So as the travel of it goes out, so as the pad wears, it will go past that point and slip, and that's the ideal. And then you're now out to that position, if you know what I mean, as a pad wears. So I hope that's translating. But what I did was, I thought to myself, we're on lockdown here. I thought to myself, I'm going to have to wait to reassemble all of this because I can't order. The local motor factors are closed, so I can't even order just a rubber piece like that. But as I know, the calipers are good, the actual pistons are good. So what I ended up doing was, you might remember at the start of this, I had another car for parts. So I ended up taking one of them off, and these are pretty bad condition. And lo and behold, I take that one off, strip it back, and find that caliper also has a worn boot. Now, I drove both of these cars, and they both drove fine with this worn boot. They weren't spluttering out all of their brake fluid, which they should. So obviously there's some kind of redundancy developed into those twin piston calipers. But anyway, that's me going off on a segue. But what I did was I was able to then take the rubber off the good side. It was the same side on the donor car that it went. It seems to be on the outer side, on the driver's side, because if I look at these two, which are from the passenger side on that donor car, the pad is an absolute wreck, right? But the actual rubbers are fine. The same on my project car. The passenger side rubbers are fine, and on the driver's side, the outer one, this one here, was shot, and it was shot on both cars. So what I ended up doing was taking the rubber from the other side and swapping it over. Now I know that's not the correct procedure. You just replace all the rubbers for brand new rubbers and everything like that. And in the ideal world, that's what I would have done, but I didn't want to be waiting around, waiting on all these shops to be back open. Now I know they're going to be back open in a week's time, but I've got lots more things to be doing as well, so I don't want to be revisiting this. So that's how I did it. But basically the video was to describe how to break these loose, and also their failings. So their pros, which is that they didn't let the brake fluid out, but their failings is also that outer driver's side on a driver's side now on a right hand drive Irish car or UK car seems to be a common failure, considering I have two that failed in the exact same time side, and all the rest of them, the three other rubber seals, were perfect. As in the two from both donor cars on the passenger side, and then the inside part of that driver's side rear. So anyway, that was my hack of it. I just basically swapped over the rubber, which is probably a no-go, but the real good one is to know, just to be able to break those loose, is to put that rubber glove over that brace, the side it moves, and keep working them until they come up and down a few times till you've been able to push it fully out, push it fully down, push it out, fully down, fully down. Like, obviously you don't want to pop. You wanted to get it to the point where it's maximum travel but hasn't popped. So yeah, that's it, guys. I hope you find that interesting. I hope that was somewhat helpful. I don't know if my my line of thought was perfect on explaining it, but I hope you get the idea. It might help some of you guys out there to know it's not a very difficult thing. All you need is shop air and a bit of a rubber glove, and then bits of wood and stuff like that. You want to use wood and things like that because it's soft. It's not hard. Yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Appreciate it. Talk to you soon. Bye.